Well, the opening of a new session here in Albany brings out all sorts of folks to make themselves further known. You've got the assembly people, you've got senators, of course, the governor will be stopping by and so forth. But here on Meet the Leaders, I'm David Smith. I'm pleased to have the mayor of the city of Yonkers, Mike Spano, as guest.
Nice to see you, David.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, it's nice to see you.
It's great to be up here.
Well, it is, and this is something that you make an annual trek to make sure that they are well aware that Yonkers is a valuable asset to the great state of New York.
You know, I make it my business to be here, as do a lot of mayors.
Sure.
And I spent 20 years here in the state assembly before I became mayor, so I know how important it is for people to see you, to talk to you, to talk to the legislative leaders here about the needs that we have as a community, and this is a good start. It's kind of a fun place to come. It's not today won't be an all serious day. Today will be a day where we'll do a lot of backslapping, and we'll say hello to old friends and congratulate the new leadership. But as of tomorrow, coming back here means a lot of work.
Well, of course, you're working constantly with your delegation that's coming from Yonkers and that area up here on a regular basis.
You know, Yonkers has a good delegation, and we have 2 senators and 2 members of the assembly. Excuse me. But we also work, because Yonkers is in Westchester County. We work in large part with the Westchester County delegation on the matters that are important to our city.
You know, needless to say, the urban districts are feeling incredibly pinched with taxes, and what I suspect in many instances you don't feel is necessarily enough give back from the tax money that you put in. It's a tough scenario.
One of the things that we've been trying to highlight over the last couple of years is the fact that municipal aid. So it's aid that we get from Albany to help offset the local property taxpayer cost of police, fire, first responders, fixing our sewer systems, and the things we do in the municipal side of the government. And it's important to have these discussions with the leaders so we can make sure we get the dollars we need.
Well, you're turning over people all the time, so you've got to make those new people aware and refresh the memories of those who you've talked with many times before.
It is. Like I started saying, coming up there and looking for that municipal aid is important, because municipal aid has been flat for the past 8 years. And while Yonkers has grown economically, and the amount of money that we actually send to Albany has gone up by 30%, the money that we're getting back from the state capital has remained flat for 8 years. So that's a discussion that we'll have with legislative leaders in an effort to try and get them to fix that, because in the world of tax caps and places where there's quite a bit of restrictions that are placed on us to do more with less, and we accept that challenge, and we like that challenge, we relish in it. But at the same time, if you're going to give those types of restrictions, the aid that would normally come with that should be forthcoming as well.
You can only do so much belt tightening, and then you run out of notches on that belt.
Absolutely.
And a town like
just to give you an idea, just the health care costs in Yonkers went up 1 year, $14 million year to year.
$14 million?
Yeah, $14 million. And people, to put it in context, because it's hard to people to kind of wrap their hands around a $1.3 billion budget and say, well, what does $14 million mean? Well, it means this. If the state tax cap is 2%, that means the maximum amount of money, new dollars I can bring in to the municipality is 3.2 million times 2. So it's,
that doesn't work somehow.
6.4 million, but yet my health coverage has gone up 12 million. So, and that doesn't count anything else. So, those are hardcore, real numbers that affect every municipality across the state.
That's people.
Yeah.
That's people being affected very directly.
Because, when you start cutting and you're cutting back, when you get to the local level, to our level, and I have to cut, well, my cuts actually hurt. You know, if I have to cut a police officer or a firefighter or a teacher. You know, and so, you know, and you can't really ask your constituents, you know, would you rather me cut a teacher or a police officer? That's like asking them, which limb do you want to cut off? It's not a good choice for them. And so, yeah, you know, I think the governor's done a great job. Our governor, Andrew Cuomo, is very responsive to me. But what he wants us to do, and I'm encouraging every other mayor and village leader that I can talk to, is he wants us to make the case for the dollars that we are looking for. And I think we can all do that, and we need to do it in a very articulate way.
I was going to say, I don't think you're going to have much trouble in making that case. But, I want to wish you the best.
Thank you.
You've got a heck of a job on your hands.
Well, a lot of good things happen, and I have a lot of great people in my city, so it makes my job that much easier.
Always been a great city, no question about it.
Thank you.
Mayor of Yonkers, Mike Spano, our guest on this edition of Meet the Leaders, all part of the kickoff of a new session up here in Albany. There's no question about it. It's an interesting time for all, and it's going to be quite the year. For Meet the Leaders, I'm David Smith.